Time for a soccer down here 1v1, and it's time to drift into the W League and catch up with the head coach for the Asheville City SC side in USL-W, Billy Lesesne. Billy, thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1.
John, excited to be here. Appreciate your time.
So, what got you intrigued into this particular venture when it came to it's like, I want to be the head coach of Asheville City? What attracted you to this gig?
Well, my family made a move last year at about this time, and I've been in the college game for a better part of 30 years and making a life change, moving to Asheville. My wife is teaching at the PT school at Western Carolina. They have an Asheville campus, so she's back in academia where she's really excited about what she's doing there. And I was able to come up with my son, who is now in second grade. He's 8 years old. Last year, one of the first things we did as sort of a father-son thing was went to an Asheville City game, and parking at Memorial Stadium was not an easy idea, concept at all. And we parked probably half mile away, started walking up the hill, and we walked right into the South Slope Blues, which is the supporters group. They've got blue flares, they've got drums, they're singing, and at the time, 7-year-old was hooked. So, we were at the guys and the girls games as often as we could during the summer as we kind of moved and transitioned into Asheville, and just having cohorts in the college game for so long, relationships there. Many of these players are college age players that want to find a solution to help them grow and develop during the summer. I thought it would be a good fit because it's an age group that I've worked with pretty consistently for quite some time, and again, have some relationships with college coaches across the country. So when the opportunity arose, I've been involved in the youth club system here at HFC, Highlands Football Club, helping the girls and boys with their college process. I'm the college recruiting coordinator. So when the ownership group from Asheville City approached about the opportunity to kind of take the steps toward coaching here, I was really excited about it. The family's on board, and we're just ready to get things started here.
What's it been like to build something from scratch? When was the last time that you've done it?
That's a tough concept. I mean, you in the college game, you're always following, another coach or another program, and there's some truth to. I'm not truly starting from scratch
Right.
because you have an ownership group, and uh, Mena Rojas and Kate Hames, who coached the team last year, have been very supportive in this process. Kate's still here in Asheville, and I work with her in the club environment. So, there are some. Asheville's a pretty unique town, and having players that have come through sort of the academy here are now playing in the first team. So there was some local knowledge of local players, and so there was a base to build from, and then from that point, it's just kind of trying to find the right fit for players to come in, and Asheville probably is not for everyone, but having the opportunity to spend some time here. It's a small town, but it is a passionate soccer community, and we were able to pull together some social media things from last season and to kind of give some of the incoming players a taste of what it looked like at Asheville last year, and the support and the camaraderie that the city opens their arms for Asheville City, and so the players saw that, and I think they're excited about being part of that, and they'll see it up close and personal tomorrow.
I was going to say, it is unique, and I mean that in every sense of the positivity of the uniqueness of Asheville City, considering that we've seen the growth of the club from where they've gone to where they are now as a part of USL League Two, and how they've gone through NPSL and gotten to where they are now, and seeing how things are on the W side as well, and working its way through. You mentioned how you kind of fell in love with the soccer experience and how passionate the South Slope Blues are, and it's in an old stadium that's in the process of being renovated, and all of these kinds of things that you sit there and there's a lot to work with here.
Mhm.
For someone who's never been to Asheville to see an Asheville City match, you mentioned the passion. But what would they see going in the door outside of the smoke and the fever and the fervor and just the love and the fact that it's almost like a big bear hug every single time you walk into the building.
Yeah, this year will be a little different as we're moving over. Memorial Stadium's having some, as you said, work being done on it. So we're moving over to UNC Asheville, where I think the club spent some time during the COVID years as as a home site. But I think what you do is you're embraced by the community when you walk into the gates, and I think that's been the really neat part of it. Asheville really has a small town feel. And if you look at a city of this size, rarely have I been to a place of this size that has, you know, adult leagues of, multiple co-eds, over 50s, over 40s, over 30s, open league A, B, C, and D. There are just so many community members that are involved in the soccer community, and it seems like they show up every game day for Asheville City. So the fans are knowledgeable, and they probably will let the referees know it, and they'll let the opposing fans players know it as well. But again, there is a really vibrant soccer community here, and it's fun to take in that environment while you're here as a player, but also as a general fan.
And if you've ever seen the broadcasts from when that started, it gives its own unique spin to the whole thing. I know that when there have been folks that are looking forward to this season, it's a sprint. I mean, there's no way around it. It is a sprint. When it comes to piecing together a club, how wide ranging are the conversations? Like I said, I imagine you have unlimited minutes on your phone when it comes to talking text and international and WhatsApp and assembling a roster. What's it like to assemble a roster like this, kind of knowing that it's a 12-match sprint, knowing that you want to play more than 12 matches, and the matches come fast and furious because you've got your first match, then 3 days, then 8 days, then 6, then it's 2 in a 4-day period, then it's 3 in a week. I mean, what's it like to assemble this? And you're having to do this and probably, catching onto a comet with your bare hands at times.
Yeah, no, it is a challenge, and the first thing I did was looked at last season's roster and sort of minutes played and those type things, because again, you're a month and a half, maybe two months of playing max, 12 games. Oftentimes, as you said, 3 games in 8 days. From a physical standpoint, it is really not an easy task, and managing minutes and rotations of players is really going to be important. And seeing that 32 players were used over the course of the season last year, you're going to have a large roster with the ability to rotate players, just to do justice to those players. I mean, the last thing I want is one of these college players who gets injured on our watch and is not able to help their college program when it comes to September, when they head back to school in August. So, I think one of my goals for the players is to keep them healthy. And, we are using strategies to monitor minutes and make sure that, players are getting the proper rest and rotations that they might need. So that has been a larger build out from a roster perspective. But again, the season's moved up a week in the calendar. So there are players that are on the roster that are graduating this weekend that we haven't seen, or players that will be coming in later at different times, and then for different reasons, some will be heading out earlier. So than the season ends. So it's funny. It's a roster that's constantly in flux. But the key for us is to make sure that the core players have an understanding of how we want to play, and again, maintaining healthy bodies out there and making sure that we rest, recover well, so that we're able to put a good product out there on match day.
And in researching the league, and a lot of folks may sit there and it's like, okay, who can I gravitate toward when it comes to Asheville City as they're fighting in the conference that they are? I know a lot of folks, especially in Conference USA and in the Southeastern footprint, know about Alana Izquierdo and her time at Southern Miss. transferred to Mississippi State. So it's like you've got there are folks that you can gravitate toward, that if you know Southeastern soccer on the collegiate level, especially Division One, there are folks that you can sit there and go, okay, yeah, no, I know this person, I know what they're capable of. For someone who hasn't seen this roster, who else can they keep an eye on when it comes to Asheville City and who you're trotting out there this year?
Yeah, we're excited to have Parker Roberts back. Played at the University of Florida, had been in the youth national team setup prior to that. Had played for Orlando in the league. So um, Parker is one of our greatest joys was playing at Asheville City. Back in I think 2017 or 18, and um, she's kind of wants to wind up her career and wanted to come back where she just loves soccer the most. So she's coming here for an experience to maybe when she steps away from a game, she wants to do it sort of on her terms in a place that she's very comfortable. And again, that when she was here, the town of Asheville opened its arms up to her, and she's you know happily walking back into that. So I'm excited to have Parker just from an experience standpoint. Abby Boyan, who played at University of Georgia, been an All SEC player from New Jersey, is here. Abby brings a lot of intensity to the game, and she is a box to box midfielder. So I think she will be a fan favorite from the standpoint of the energy that she puts into her effort, both in practice and in games. She's a really remarkable person who's very driven and determined. And if I were a young college player, my freshman or sophomore year, I would watch what Abby does and ask her, "Can I join you?" Because she's a kid who just works so hard, and she's trying to bridge a gap to hopefully go play internationally, and would like to stick around. I mean, she went into Chicago's camp this year and, was there for a week and a half or so. So she's, as the league expands next year, she's hoping to kind of continue to stay as relevant as she can and put herself in a position where she can maybe take the next step to professional play. So, I think she's got, again, that's the beauty of this league. Sometimes you're hearing different, like Parker's kind of toward the end of hers. Abby wants to get us into a professional, and then you've got young college players who, this is the beginning of the journey for them, and then you've got some local Asheville young players that want to be part of it. So it really is a wide ranging group with a lot of variety, which I think is going to make it fun to coach.
When you're looking at the division, you're in the South Atlantic. For those that don't know, you're paired with Charlotte Independence, FC Carolinas, the Greenville Liberty, and we caught up with their coach on our Thursday morning show. You got North Carolina Courage that's attached with their U23s. You've got Fusion. You've got Wake FC. When you look at this South Atlantic division and everyone that you're going to be going up against, what stands out to you?
Yeah, I think it's a deep, deep conference with a lot of talent. I mean, I think there's pretty good balance there. Obviously, Greenville was the class of the league last year, and I think NCFC, just from a geographical standpoint, being in that triangle area, there are a lot of players, and NCFC is probably the largest club in the state. And then you've got Charlotte, which has a very large soccer population. A lot of the Independence kids that play in that club go off to college and will come back and play for them. So, I think it's going to be a very, very talented league this year. And again, I think that's what our players are most excited about, is to play competitive games over the course of these months during the summer. So, I think we're situated in a league where there are not going to be any gimme games, and it's going to be, a pretty good battle across the board all the way until our final home games July 1. So I really think there'll be a pretty tight table when we get to the latter part of June, looking at it as we are today.
Billy Lesesne, head coach of Asheville City SC, part of USL-W, and hanging out with us for a 1v1 for another couple of minutes. The league itself has expanded 50% from year to year to around 65 teams, if I remember my math right. What's it been like for you to see not just maybe the USL-W league on its own, but to see the league continue to grow and expand, and the game continue to grow and expand across the board, and not just first division, but you gravitate toward first division, but You see the second and third division clubs growing. You see the summer league growing, in a bunch of different places. What's it been like for you to see the game grow in the Southeast the way that it has?
Yeah, it's truly been remarkable, the growth. And I think it starts from having a very firmly footed first professional division. And then having the Carolina Courage relatively close to us from that standpoint. Being able to take in those games occasionally. It's just really been rapid, the growth and development. And I think USL-W provides a niche for those players who are want to get to that next step, and need opportunity and need to be seen and need games. And I think that's what we're trying to provide for those players, as well as those college players who get a taste of this now and get back into their college journey, and maybe they want to take that next step. So just having a place for people to fall safely and kind of build build and develop, I think, is what this is all about. And really excited to be part of that picture for a lot of the young ladies that are coming into our program.
All right, so you've got your season opener and your home opener on the weekend against North Carolina Fusion. Then you turn around quickly and play FC Carolinas. What has study hall been like getting ready for Fusion for the season opener? How much studying can you do, or do you focus on yourself, knowing that it's the first match of the season and you got a lot of things coming up in short order?
Yeah, I think everybody is time challenged as far as what prep goes into this. So, I think we've focused on us. Again, we will have our third training session today. So, and our first training session started with 12 players. So, players are coming in as we get here. We'll have a good 18 by the time we play tomorrow. But, it's trying to get people on the same page as quickly as possible, and just trying to provide maybe a structure of how we would like to play. But again, you can't get too detailed from that perspective. So, I think really getting everyone on the same page early and seeing how we respond to that when we play. And I think at that point, we look at what our kind of prototype, what our model looks like at that point, and then we'll be able to start maybe fine tuning a little bit. But it's, every day at practice, it's like it's the name game again for, because we got another couple of players that are coming in, and they've got to learn everyone's name and then position, and kind of how we want to set up when we're in possession, when we're out of possession, and then in set piece situations. So, it's been a lot of teaching and getting everybody on the same page, but I'm excited about sitting back and watching them play over a 90-minute period and let them make some decisions. And if a team pokes holes in what we do, then, that's when we have an opportunity to go out and make critical decisions about how we change that. So, it's the shortest run up to a season that I've ever had. So, it is certainly all new to be in this situation, but I do see it as a positive challenge. And again, you're putting a lot of responsibility on the players to show what they can deliver. And I'm excited about that. I want them to have that freedom and want to give them that trust.
Billy Lesesne, head coach of Asheville City SC out of the USL-W. They've got their season starting this weekend. It's a tough division, and it's going to be really interesting to watch in one of the great football towns here in the southeastern United States that a lot of folks may not know about, but they should. Coach, thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1. Good luck this season. We'll be keeping an eye on you up there in USL-W up there in Asheville.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time.